Hello and welcome to today's episode of Strong Men, Strong Marriages, the 3 keys to transform your marriage. So these are really the 3 things that are going to help you go from where you are now to where you want to be connected, having that love, intimacy, connection, mental, emotional, and sexual intimacy. Who am I? My name is Mike Frazier, MD, and I help high-achieving Christian men have more intimate marriages. So wanted to share some wins from our group. So I run a program where guys come in that want to transform their marriage, and they do it, and they do it fast by doing the keys that I'm going to explain to you today. So some of the things that they shared this week were just having a really great Father's Day with their kids, with their wives, just experiencing that love from both their wives and their kids, and enjoying those moments, um, turning potential disappointment into more connection. So guys are sharing things like how they used to, their wife used to say certain things to them and they would get just frustrated and upset. And now they're able to turn that into more connection. Or their wife might complain and now they're able to listen well and turn that into a moment to understand and create more connection with their wife and love. Catching needy behaviors, right? Like, be like, oh, my wife cares more about other people than me. And being able to turn that around and just see that as their wife enjoying her life and being happy for that instead of whining and complaining that, their wife should be enjoying their life with them instead, which is needy and unattractive. So guys are catching that and they're transforming it. And it's so cool to see, during these potentially really high stress and high conflict situations. Some guys are going through some really difficult things right now, but they're able to be more honest than they've ever been, connect with their wife in this deeper way. And it's just so cool to see. Again, listening through those difficult conversations when it's very hard, especially when you're feeling attacked, they're able to manage their emotions well enough to get through that. And again, turn it into more connection when before it would have turned into a big fight. Okay. And for me, myself this week, just having some really cool moments, um, of connection with my wife. Yesterday was Father's Day, and she was able to she did a lot of really nice things for me. We were able to drive around in the evening and just have a time and connect, and I was able to just compliment her on how pretty she looked, and she just had this big smile, and it was just a really great moment for me too. So, like, I'm doing the work with the guys in the program, and always trying to improve myself in my marriage as well, creating more intimacy all the time. So, but here's the thing: what are you trying right now to transform your marriage to get that intimacy? So if you're on this podcast or watching this video, right, that's part of it. You're improving your mind, which is great. You're reading books, you're watching videos, you're learning, you're trying some new things on your own. Maybe you're getting some good results already. Um, but then, like, it stops working, or it's not getting right quite where you wanted it to, right? The other thing that you're doing is kind of hoping that these changes change your wife's attitude towards you, right? So you're hoping that, man, if I make these changes, right, she's going to start paying more attention to me. She's going to appreciate me more. She's going to have sex with me. She's going to kiss me and hug me, right? If I make these changes, that's what I can expect back. Okay. So that's all part of what you're doing now. And it's really still part of the Mosquito Method, right? So you're making these changes, you're doing nice things for her, you're expecting back attention, appreciation, affection, and sex. Okay. When you don't get that, you get frustrated. Okay. Because you can do these changes for a while, but if the reason for doing them is to get things back from your wife, attention, appreciation, affection, and sex, right? You're going to get frustrated eventually. And again, the reason is because your motivation's off. And we'll get into this more in a minute. But she picks up on this mosquito sense. She has like a sense for mosquitoes. One of the natural enemies of the mosquito is a dragonfly. That's like one of my favorite animals now because of all of this. Um, so they go and they kill mosquitoes. So she's like a dragonfly, right? She wants to kill that mosquito. So she senses it. She doesn't give attention, appreciation, and affection to that mosquito because she doesn't want to encourage that. Okay, so you don't get it. You get frustrated. Then you either explode at her. I can't believe you're doing this. Why can't you do this for me? I do so much for you, right? Or you escape into pornography or work, or I talked to the guy this week. It was golf, right? Sports. So we escape and get into these negative cycles. And then we feel bad about it, right? And then we start doing nice things for her again and say, oh yeah, I need to change. I forgot, I'm going to do that again, right? So the reason this doesn't work. So number one is that your motivations to change are wrong, right? Because they're to change her. So right off the bat, you've got issues because you're still part of the mosquito cycle. It's still manipulative because you're doing these things because you want something back for her. And so it's not attractive. It's needy, right? It's trying to get her to make you feel better. Okay. It also gives you high anxiety because you're trying to do something impossible, which is change her. Anytime that your goal is for her to do something in response, you can guarantee yourself it's not going to work. Again, because your intention is manipulative, and also because you're just going to be so anxious all the time. Like I remember one of the guys I worked with early on who's doing great now. He would always ask me, like, "What should I do? What should I do?" Right? But that anxiety of what to do comes from this trying to answer the wrong question, which is how do I change my wife? How do I get my wife to change her mind? Okay, that leads you down this crazy making path because there's no real answer for it. You have no control over it. When you try to control the uncontrollable, your anxiety goes really high, which is very unattractive and feels terrible. Okay. The other reason, guys, why it's not working, and I know you're a high achieving guy and you're used to getting a lot of things done in your life. The other reason you're not transforming your marriage is because you can only get so far on your own. I promise you, you will hit a wall where you cannot go any farther on your own. Okay. Again, one of my mentors taught me that your eyes are in the wrong place to see yourself. They really are. You can see out. You can look in a mirror, but you can't see like the side of your head or the back of your head, like through a mirror. You could hold another mirror up maybe, but you just don't have that view, right? You don't have that perspective. Okay. What that means is you miss important changes that you have to make. Guarantee it. Everybody that comes into the program, they think, oh yeah, I'm in a pretty good spot. Although once they come in, they kind of understand, yeah, I need some outside perspective. Every time, right, I'm able to find things that they didn't see on their own. Okay. The other thing that happens when you try to do it on your own is that your changes are inconsistent. Okay. Because you start losing motivation. Oh, I tried this, it didn't work. I tried this, it didn't work. Oh man, and you kind of give up, right? And so your changes are inconsistent. That means you lose trust in yourself, okay, because you're not following through on what you said you'd do. And you also lose trust from your wife. She's like, I thought we worked on this, right? Like you said you're going to change and now you didn't. So now that trust drops, the safety drops, and you lose confidence. You just don't feel good. Okay. So again, as a summary of why it's not working now, your motivation's off. You're trying to change her. So that's needy, manipulative, and causes high anxiety. You're trying to do it on your own, which means you're missing important changes that you need to make, I guarantee. The other thing is your changes are inconsistent because you try them for a while, maybe they work for a while, and then you either drop them because they're working, which is a common problem we make, common mistake we make, or you drop them because you feel like they're not working when really you just had to kind of keep going for a while. So what do we do instead, right? There's 3 keys to transform a marriage. So number 1 is to commit to changing no matter what. No matter what your wife says, no matter what she does, no matter if she agrees with you wanting to change or not, you do it anyway, okay? Because that's who you want to be. You get coaching, okay? You get someone on the outside that knows what they're doing, that's an expert that can help point out the problems. And then you get accountability. Accountability is what builds consistency into your actions, okay? All right. So getting more into detail on committing to change no matter what, you need to decide, look, right now, I'm not the kind of guy that creates great relationships. You have to understand that. If you don't have a great relationship right now with your wife, it's because you're not the kind of guy that creates that relationship. You don't know how to do it, okay? How to do it consistently. So you need to decide, I want to be that guy, right? I want to be a guy who understands how to be close to God, how to communicate well, how to manage my own thoughts and emotions, how to create fun and intimacy in my marriage. I have to learn how to do that no matter what anybody else says, right? And to do it for God, for yourself, for your kids, right? Not because you want your wife back, but just because you want to be that man, okay? And again, committing to do that no matter what she chooses or what she does, right? I'm going to be the guy that's close to God, that creates a good marriage, that knows how to do it, that has the skills to do that, that is trustworthy enough to create that, okay? So when you decide this, right, you feel strong, you feel aligned, you feel confident because you're like, look, I have to change. Whether my wife, I mean, my wife probably is telling me that I need to change, but like I need to take responsibility for that. I can't rely on her to tell me what I need to change all the time. It's not really her job. My job is to change into who I want to be because that's who I want to be, and not make her my like counselor or mentor or coach, right? But actually get somebody that I want to help me do this. It's my problem. I need to take responsibility to fix it. Okay. Now notice how that feels a lot stronger, right? It's aligned and it's confident. So you have to commit to that change. The other thing that's good here is you're in complete control of this, right? You have complete control over how you think, feel, and act, right? In the program, what we do is we look at how you're thinking, feeling, and acting now, the habits you have in there. We get rid of all the negative ones and we replace them with positive ways of thinking, feeling, and acting. Okay. So you've got to commit to these changes, right? This is what escapes the mosquito cycle, because now you're not trying to do it because you want her to do something back, but it's just because this is who you want to be. You want to have the strengths and skills to create a great marriage. You want to be strong in body, mind, heart, and spirit, and know how to communicate well and create intimacy. That's who you want to be as a man, right? Whether your wife approves of that or not, right? Because here's the thing: a lot of times guys will come in and they want to make the changes, right? But they also want their wife to like okay it and say, yeah, like that's okay, you should do it. But the problem there is, first of all, a lot of times when guys come in, their marriage isn't good, right? And so you guys are not aligned. So your wife might say, oh, like I don't think you should do that, and then the guys don't do it, but then they don't change, right? They're It's still mosquito cycle, right? Because they're trying to please their wife, right? They're trying to avoid a conflict, you know. And so maybe they avoid a conflict short term, but they still got all these problems, right? They've still got all these negative ways of thinking, feeling, and acting that they're not correcting, right? So sure, you avoid a problem in the short term, but in the long term, you have the exact same problems playing out in your marriage forever, right? Until either you stay roommates forever or you end up separated or divorced because you didn't take responsibility for changing your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Okay. But when you do decide, okay, like I'm going to do this, I'm committing to do this, right? Whether my wife approves of it or not, whether she thinks it's a good idea or not, this is what I want to do. I want to improve myself in this way. Okay. So that actually creates safety for your wife, right? Because she knows, okay, like he's doing this because he actually is going to commit and do it and change, right? At first, she's maybe suspicious, right? But when you start actually making the changes, then, she's happy, right? So it creates confidence for you as well. When you commit, like, this is the reason that I'm doing this, then you're all set. You feel good. You feel solid. You feel confident. You're going to get to work, right? Because you're deciding to do it for yourself. Okay. So number one, again, you decide to change for yourself, no matter what your wife decides. The second thing you need to do is get some outside help, right? So you say, I'm going to do it. And like, I know I have to do the work, but I also know I need some outside help because I can't see my blind spots. I can't do it on my own, right? So you get an outside expert perspective. Okay, not just somebody on the street, not just a buddy of yours, right? But somebody who actually knows what they're doing and can help you identify the problems that you have. Okay. Whether that's coaching, whether that's counseling, whether it's mentoring, right? Somebody who is an expert in this, who has helped guys like you in your situation to get the results that you want. Okay. If you're listening to this podcast and you're a high achieving Christian man, I can help you, right? And I do calls with guys to make sure I can help them first before they enroll in the program. And if you're wanting to do that, jump into a call and let's see, right? But the thing is, you have blind spots. By definition, you cannot see your own blind spots. Okay, no matter how smart you are, no matter what you've accomplished in your life, right? You have blind spots. If your marriage is in trouble, you have blind spots in relationships. You just do. Okay, don't think you don't. All of us do, right? Do it yourself. It's only going to take you so far, ever, right? In anything, even if you're like, oh, I'm a self-made man in my business, or I am a professional, right? And I accomplished all these things. Like, you had mentors along the way to teach you how to do all that stuff. So when it comes to marriage, a lot of us kind of think, oh, we should do that on our own, but you're not doing it on your own right now. You're trying and it's not working. So you need an expert to help you. Okay, so just humble yourself and get some help. So just commit to getting an outside perspective, right? And getting the best one that you can get, the best fit for you, right? That's going to help you do the things that you want to do, right? Again, here's the key. Even if your wife doesn't agree to this, right? So it's counterintuitive, but remember, like, you're committing to changing no matter what your wife does. So first key, right? I'm going to change no matter what, right? Your wife does want you to change. The reason that she puts up resistance most of the time is just she's not sure that you're going to do it, right? And then it's going to stick. That's why she's putting up resistance, right? Or, she may be so removed at this point that she's like, yeah, do whatever you want, right? But even then, like, you have to decide to change for you, right? Because all of the reasons not to do it track back to, the result you're going to get with your wife, right? Is my wife going to come back or not? And if you're doing it for that, you're still in the mosquito cycle and it will not work. Okay. Will not work. You got to commit no matter what. And then at some point you will create a great marriage, whether it's right now or whether it's in the future, right? With somebody else, it will happen because you're going to be that guy. The only way you're going to be able to transform your marriage is if you commit to changing for yourself, no matter what your wife does. That's first. Then you need to get some coaching so that you can actually see what you're doing wrong, right? That an expert can tell you what you're doing wrong, right? So I've been thinking about ways to describe this, but like, let's say that you had cancer, right? You found out you had cancer and your wife, for some reason, didn't want you to get the treatment. Okay. Would you get that treatment anyway? Right? You would, right? You would do it because you realize, hey, like this is for my own health and safety here. I need to get this treatment. Like even if my wife doesn't agree with it. So right now, you have a personality cancer. You know, you're causing all these problems in in your marriage because you've got mosquito cycle issues, you've got trust issues, you've got communication issues, you got intimacy issues, right? These are serious issues that need an expert to come in and help you fix them, right? You have the problem, so you need to be responsible for the treatment, right? So it's hard to see and understand that for some people, but in our society, right, it's like if you had a medical disease like cancer, you wouldn't go ask your wife, oh, like should I get treatment, right? You just say, okay, like let's do it. um, but when it comes to relationships and marriage, a lot of times we think, well, you know I need to, like, my wife has to approve, or whatever. But it's just as serious, right? It's just as problematic. It's just as big a problem that needs an expert to fix these personality issues, right? They're deep issues and you need to commit to change them. Okay? And yeah, usually the reason your wife is hesitant is because she's afraid it won't work, right? But when you commit, you say, I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to be responsible for the payments, right? This is the person I want to help me change. I know I have to change. I know I have a disease, right? I have a personality cancer that needs treatment. This is the doctor that can fix it. Okay. So your wife might at first say, oh, okay, well, do whatever you want. And she's resistant because she doesn't think it's going to work, right? But when you actually make it work and commit to making it work and get the help to do it, then she's happy, right? Because even if you guys get separated or divorced, you're going to have a great relationship with her as a co-parent. You're going to be a great parent to the kids, right? And she's going to be glad that you did that. Again, personality cancer is what you've got. You need expert treatment. So the next part is getting accountability. Okay. So about 1% of men do the right thing all the time just because it's the right thing. Okay. You might think that's you, but if your marriage is in trouble, that's not you. Okay. Let's just be direct about this. It's not you, or else you wouldn't have these marriage troubles. And then about 98% of men will do the right thing when someone else is watching. Okay. So that's me. It's probably you, right? That when there's accountability in place, you're much better at being consistent. So when I first started the program that I have now, right, it's 90 days. Every day you have accountability. You have to be doing certain things, certain habits that transform your way of thinking, feeling, and acting. Okay. So when I first started doing it, I thought I was pretty good at like doing the things that I recommend in the program. What I found was I actually wasn't as consistent as I thought I was. When I knew somebody was in there, like waiting for me to put the posts up, I did it every day. I haven't missed because I know somebody's there, right? The other guys, it's the same way, right? A huge part of it is knowing somebody is there watching and waiting for you to do this stuff. Okay. So, and then about 1% of men do the wrong thing at any time. And if that was you, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. So that's not you. I'm in the 98%. So are you. Okay. Just understand that. Do we want to get to the 1%? Sure. Like at some point, it would be great to do that. But for now, we've got to build that accountability in place. Okay. Accountability is what leads to consistent change, right? And then as you consistently do things and keep your promise, right, that builds your self-confidence because you're like, hey, like I'm a man of my word. I do what I say I'm going to do. And then that builds trust from your wife because you're consistently executing on these changes that you've committed to make, right? Okay. So in summary, transforming your marriage, it requires three things. Number one is the right motivation. and that is to change yourself. Okay? To be the strong, attractive, godly man who knows exactly how to create a great marriage through trust, communication, and intimacy, that has the skills to do it. Okay? So you choose to do that no matter what your wife decides, no matter what she says, no matter what she does, you are going to choose to be this man. Right? You're going to choose to make these changes. And no one can stop you from doing it. Right? That's the attitude you need to have. The next thing you need is some coaching so you can see your blind spots, so you can make the right adjustments, right? You need treatment for your personality cancer, right? So you're saying, I've got issues, I need help to treat them. And I'm going to choose an expert to help me treat them. Okay? Your wife might not like it, she might like it. It doesn't matter because you know you have the disease and you need the treatment. Okay. The last thing you need, right? So again, committing to making the changes no matter what. Identifying that you have a personality cancer. Number 2, getting coaching to correct that, right? To see your blind spots, to treat the personality cancer, right? Then you need accountability. So you make sure that those changes are consistent over time. So you trust yourself, and then your wife can start trusting you as well. Okay. So if you'd like to see if I can help you, like if you can make that decision today, I'm going to make the changes, right? I want coaching because I understand I need that now. I want accountability. So I provide that in my program, Love, Intimacy, and Legacy, right? So we do daily coaching, we do daily accountability so that you make these changes, right? We do weekly group coaching, we do a one-on-one call right off the beginning to make sure you understand everything. Okay. Like I'm on your team through this. I'm going to treat that personality cancer. That's what I'm good at. That's my expertise. Personality cancer that leads to relationship cancer. Um, so if you'd like to see if I can help you, I have a few one-on-one calls each week that I do to, make sure that we're a good fit and that I can help you because, there are people that I can't help, right? That it's not a good fit. So I want to talk with you and make sure you are a good fit. And part of how you'll know is if you're a high achieving guy, right? You're driven, motivated. You have Christian values, integrity, honesty, right? And you are ready to commit to this. Okay, that's how you'll know. So visit mikefrasermd.com, click on work with me. There's also a link in the show notes, or if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link below. So I'd love to have you in there. So if you want to take things to the next level, if you're ready to commit, if you're ready to get coaching and accountability, come join us, right? Let's have your wins up there next week. All right, guys. So again, mikefrasermd.com, click on work with me. Stay strong, men. We will see you next episode.